Welcome to the Graceful Confidence Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Devick, the founder of Life Coaching with Lauren, a female empowerment coach, an entrepreneur, empath, and a lover of the eco-friendly lifestyle. My mission is to help women take control of their lives by teaching them how to increase their confidence in an authentic and genuine way, so they can achieve both personal and professional goals. I will share ways to increase your confidence, tips on how to integrate grace into your life, as well as stories and advice from other experts on how, as women, we can better empower ourselves and those around us. I will show you exactly how to use the power of confidence and grace to create an empowering and invigorating life that you are excited about waking up to every single day. Now, let's dive in. Today's guest is someone who knows how to tell unforgettable stories in more ways than one. Daniela Murray spent more than 17 years as a photographer, capturing some of life's most meaningful moments through her camera before discovering a new passion for storytelling through fiction. She is the self-published author of I Can Save Her, a psychological thriller filled with unexpected twists, emotional depth, and just the right touch of romance and humor. When she's not writing or photographing weddings and families, Daniela hosts a local book club and is already hard at work on several new projects, including the sequel to I Can Save Her, a YA thriller, and her first romantic comedy. Today, we're talking about her journey from photographer to novelist, the self-publishing process, and what it takes to write a thriller that keeps readers turning pages late into the night, and of course, the inspiration behind I Can Save Her. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graceful Confidence Podcast. I am thrilled to be joined by local Ocala author Daniela Murray. Daniela has just written and published her first book titled I Can Save Her. I am almost done with it, Daniela. I am so close. I was telling you before we started recording that every time I think I know what's going to happen, something else happens, and then I second guess myself. So I'm so excited to get to the end of this to see what the conclusion of it is. I just want to tell the listeners, Daniela published her first book in January of this year, correct?
That's right.
I published my first book a few months ago, and Daniela, we got coffee. I leaned on you so much for what your experience had been like throughout your process. So thank you, first of all, for your guidance, your advice, your insight. And I don't know about you, but I've had quite a few people ask about the process of writing the book. So in today's episode, we're not going to dive into the content of the book because we want people to read it, go out and get I Can Save Her. Daniela will share where it's available, but really focusing more so on the process and how this has impacted you, impacted your life, what's next, etc.
Mm-hmm. So it has been a journey for sure. I want to say the hardest thing was realizing how much I had to put myself out there as, not choosing the traditional publishing route and going through self-publishing. So that was the biggest thing because I knew, I had to tell people I was writing a book and market it and advertise it. But really genuinely seeing how much I had to put myself out there was kind of a shock.
Yeah, for sure. So let's take it back just a step. So what even inspired you to write this book? Have you always wanted to write a book? Why now? Why this book?
So this book in particular was not even in the works. And when I started my writing journey, I had started writing a kind of like an adventure young adult read. And I wanted to kind of show my son and prove to my son that you could write a book. And he was like, is this something that I could read? And I was like, I guess I would have to write it so that you could read it. So when I started writing that book, I got halfway through and I was like, this is not where I want to go with this. None of this interests me. I am a psychological thriller reader and I love to write psychological thrillers. So I had to actually put a pause and a pin on that one. And I started writing this book, which is a psychological thriller. And I feel like this book literally just fell out of me. And so when you know.
That is awesome. And you touched a little bit on this about the putting yourself out there, but was there anything else that surprised you about the writing journey?
How hard it was. I'll be honest. How hard it is because you can outline a book all day, every day, and for me as an author, I have found out that I am a pantser. So I like right on the edge of my seat. So you said that you don't even know what's happening in the book. I didn't even know what was going to happen once I wrote it.
Oh my gosh.
So I had an outline and I was trying to figure out, how I wanted the book to go. And it doesn't always work out as planned, especially when you're trying to write a thriller and you're trying to like trick audiences and trick readers. It's like, well, no, they're going to know that that's what it is. So I threw the outline out of the window and I was like, all right, we're going to go on the edge of my seat. So when I say it fell out of me, I was writing and typing and I had no idea what my characters were going to do. They went off on their own world. And so, yeah, it was a whole process. And it was a surprise for me, too, for the ending. I was like, oh, okay, that happened.
Well, now I really want to finish it. So, yes, that's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your writing process. Like, what did that look like?
So I actually had to, because I'm a mom, right? And so I was working full time at the time. I had to set days where I had a creative writing night. And it was a known throughout the whole calendar and the family that night I was going to sit down and write my book. So I feel like you have to force yourself, whether it's 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, or one day a week, and just kind of build a structure and a plan, because you will fall off and you will just say, oh, well, life is more important. Kids are more important. I have things to do. I got to clean the house, cook dinner, all the things, right? So if you don't make time for this creative thrive and drive for yourself, then it will kind of just fall off. So I feel like my creative process is literally forcing myself to be creative and have that time.
I can attest to that. I wrote a majority of my book after the boys were born. So you're absolutely right. If you don't find the discipline to make it happen, it's not going to happen. So I don't know about you, but I've had a lot of people say, well, I've always wanted to write a book. How did you do it? And the short answer is, you just force yourself to do it. Yeah, like anything else, honestly, in life. Yep, finding the discipline to do so.
Yeah, for sure. I've had that question asked for me too, or somebody would say, oh, I've always wanted to write a book. And it's like, well, why haven't you?
Yeah.
And that's the reason. They don't have the discipline, the drive, the motivation to keep going, because anybody could write a book. It's actually finishing it.
That is very true.
Yeah.
So let's dive into that a little bit more. Did you have the discipline right off the bat, or is that something you had to cultivate and create? And if so, how did you make yourself do it?
So I feel like my husband can agree with this. I'm a very ambitious person. And so I'm very I have a lot of drive. And when I put my mind to something and I set my mind to something, I get it done. So I feel like at first when I started my writing journey, well, yes, I had the discipline in my mind. I did fall off because I wasn't writing every single day, especially when I was like, this book is going nowhere. I have no idea what I'm doing with this. Like, none of this is making sense. Maybe this isn't even what I'm supposed to be doing. So you take a break, right? And you pause and then you just kind of reflect. I'm like, okay, well, maybe this is the wrong book at the wrong time that I'm writing, which is what happened with the first book I started writing, was the wrong book at the wrong time. And so I found that motivation with this because I was like, I want to write a mystery because that's what I enjoy. So once I found exactly what I wanted to write, how I wanted to write it, then the discipline just kind of came second nature because I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it, that I could finish it. So
how long did it take you to write this particular book?
I would say overall 2 years, but broken up. So I want to say the first half of the book was 6 months. And then I took an 8-month pause because like I said, I was like, I have no idea where this book is going. I don't know what I want to do. And then I was invited on an actual retreat that correlated with the book in the same place. And we'll touch on that in a minute because I know you want to know all about that.
Yeah.
And so once I got back from the retreat, I got back in late October and I was done with the book right around Christmas. So maybe 2 months.
Yes.
So I would say in total 8 months, but overall, looking at the big picture, about 2 years.
And I think that's important for people to know. It's a process. And I would say probably the book being published is a very tangible thing. And I've done coaching for years, had lots of conversations with people about like success and how what you see is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
So people are seeing this product and they're like, oh my gosh, that's great. And they probably don't realize all of the work, all of the time, all of the energy that went into it, all of the doubt, all of the questions. So what I want to move into next, because you did have a really unique experience throughout your book writing process on this retreat.
Yeah.
Which as I understand it, changed the trajectory of the book.
Yes.
So can you talk about that?
Yes. So, like I said, I was invited on a retreat, and I want to give a little shout out if I can to Plot Twist Adventures, Heather Wright, and my spirit mama, Bahia Aisha. They are both, Heather's now kind of traveling all over, but Bahia is based in Colorado. And they do women's retreats or like camp type retreats. And so Heather and I have done a couple retreats before. And so she invited me to come to Colorado. And Colorado is one of my most beloved places. If you read I Can Save Her, you will know because it's based in Colorado. And so when she invited me, I was just kind of like, yeah, of course. Like I'll be there. No questions asked. I will just pack my stuff and go. And I had no idea where in Colorado I was going to be, honestly. And so maybe 2 weeks before we got to, talk about the retreat and meet up and get all the details, I was meeting with a friend and I told her, hey, I'm going to Colorado on another retreat with Plot Twist Adventure. She's like, oh, awesome. Where in Colorado? I was like, I don't know. So, because I'm that type of person, I'm like, yes, I'm ambitious. Like I said, I'm driven. So I'm like, you want me to do something? I'll go do it. So I looked up the itinerary and I was like, oh my God, I'm going to Ouray, Colorado. And she's like, well, what does that mean? I was like, the book I'm writing is about Ouray, Colorado that I was writing last year. I had put on pause, had no idea. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, what a perfect sign.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
That this is where I needed to be. And this is where like whatever journey this was starting within me came from that retreat wholeheartedly, I believe. So I'm looking at the itinerary and I'm like going through all the things. And I was like, wow, I got it all wrong. I got what the town looks like, what town she had to drive through to get there. It's all wrong. So I was like, I'm going to take this retreat as the opportunity to actually restructure the book to make it make sense, to actually go through parts of the towns and all the things. And when I was writing the book, I had come home. I didn't plan on putting the retreat in the book. That was never going to be a thing. I was just going to do the town. But when I got back and I was like, this character needs some kind of arc, something that's going to like the tip of the iceberg, help her find her like motivation, her reason for the whole plan for her to go to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. I was like, the retreat changed me, so it's going to change my character.
Oh my gosh. I just finished that part of the book also. Yeah, she went on the retreat. So, oh yes, I'm on my edge of my seat. Yeah, it's like, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So you went to the retreat and when you came back, so the town, obviously you had a different appreciation and understanding of what that looked like. How else did that change the forward momentum of the book?
So the thing with small towns is they're very secluded, and you don't realize how secluded this town was. When I was looking up Ouray, I just wanted to write about a small town in Colorado, and I literally Googled what is the least population town, the smallest town in Colorado, and Ouray popped up.
Wild.
It was like a population of 900. So I was like, perfect. Mystery can happen there, murders can happen there, and nobody will find anybody, right? But like actually being in there and saying, wow, like, maybe that is something that could happen because it's so eerie and ominous and so small. There's no big, hotels. There's no big city. There's not traffic. You're literally in a small town, 360 degrees surrounded by mountains. It is the most amazing place I've ever been, first of all. But like to actually be there, I felt like I was my character in the town looking around. I'm like, she saw these mountains. She drove on the $1 Million Highway and now I'm there too. It was amazing. But yeah, it changed it to know that while yes, I did the research on how small the town was, like it was really small. So I was able, while we were walking around, I was able to look around like, oh, this is where this could happen, or that's where that could happen. And I had my phone and I was writing notes the whole time.
Oh my gosh. And how did, if at all, did the retreat change you as a person and an author to be able to come back to this project?
So I've had, when I went on the retreat, I didn't know that I had as much like inner trauma and inner turmoil that I had to deal with until I went on the retreat, because the women's retreat was all of it. We had a rage release. We had kind of like breath work where you work on breathing and slowing it down your anxiety. And then we had like a talking circle where we all held this stone and we drank cacao, and it was like a cacao ceremony, they called it. And we just kind of like expressed what we wanted to change or what was bothering us. And everyone was going around telling all their stories. And I was like, I've got nothing to contribute. I have no idea like why I'm not supposed to be here. Like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with me. And so when it got to me, like I just poured my heart out, and I had no idea that I had that inside me. And mostly it was my self-doubt and my self-worth, and never thinking that I was ever good enough and that I couldn't do what I set my heart out to do because somebody was going to be better, and always comparing myself to someone, or just looking at myself in the mirror and saying, I hate you. Like I dealt with a lot of things I didn't know. And in that retreat, I think it was when we did the rage release, which is also shown in the book, we had a bat and there was like a foam pillow, and we just beat the crap out of the pillow and just to get the anger out and the rage out. And it was almost like me beating up all those voices in my head that told me I was never good enough, that I wasn't pretty enough, that I wasn't going to be a good writer, that I couldn't be a good photographer. Like all these things that was like knocking me down. I just kind of, nope, shut up. But you're not in this. And I feel like that was the moment where I like chose to believe in myself and was like, I can do this, because if I could beat the voices and I can tell them to be quiet, I can do this. And I feel like that was the biggest part of when I came back. It just kind of fell out of me. And I was like, we're gonna finish this, because I wanted to prove to myself that not only could I beat up the voices, that I could actually come home and do what I set out to do at the retreat, which was prove myself wrong.
So I love that you said that. Yeah, first of all, because I do think sometimes we go into situations and we're like, well, there's nothing wrong with me, or I don't need that, or I don't need to deal with that, or I'll just push that down. Eventually it's going to come out. Oh, yeah. It's going to come out. So I'm so glad that yours was in such positive, inspiring kind of ways. Oh, yeah. If anyone is looking for ways to release some rage, maybe take a pillow and a baseball bat in your backyard, just go at it. But that was one of my questions, was how do you navigate self-doubt or imposter feelings as a creative? Because I know I've certainly been having them.
Yeah.
I might need to take a pillow and a bat into the backyard.
Yes. So I think a lot of our influences for anyone feeling like their self-worth is so low or that they're not good enough is social media, honestly. Because if you go on social media and let's say you're trying to get inspiration from another photographer, or you're trying to get inspiration for another writer or author, and you're always going to think that they are better than you, only because they're actually putting themselves out there. They're showing up and doing it for them. But everyone deals with the imposter syndrome. So kind of how I navigate is when I feel like, okay, this is absolute crap. I am the worst writer ever. I shut all that down. So not only beating the pillow with a bat and shutting those voices off, I shut off the other voices through social media, and I kind of unplug and unwind, and I don't look at it. And also, having already written my book, I'll go back and I'll read my positive reviews on Goodreads or Amazon, because I'm like, well, all these people didn't like my book. There's so many that did. And I feel like that is kind of an inspiration for me to keep going, because at least they did. They liked it.
Yeah.
So whenever you're feeling down or feeling like any self-doubt, read positive reviews, and reviews that are not friends and family, because the loudest people in your corner will be people you don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so right about social media, whether it's writing a book or, I don't know, starting a new exercise routine or being a mom. Like, it's so easy to fall into the comparison trap. But really what I hope people take away is we're all trying to figure this out. And no one's perfect. And usually what you see on social media is probably not the entire picture. So
Yep.
yeah, it's really, really hard. So I like that, just shutting that side of it out and focusing on the positive.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
So how would you say that becoming an author has changed you?
I think, I mean, honestly, I feel like I've always had it in me because this is something I've always aspired to do. Even when I was a little girl, my dad had like the old typewriter, the clicky clacky typewriter. And I would come home every day after school and I'd be in our little island and I'd have his typewriter and I would just type up short stories. They didn't make any reason, or rhyme or reason or make any sense, because I was like 7 years old. But it was something I've always loved to do. I always loved to read. I always loved to write stories. And at some point in my life, I feel like that creativity just died, or not died, it moved away, right? And as I got older, I picked up a camera and I started telling stories in a different way through my lens and kind of doing video and photo work, telling stories that way. So if anything, I feel like becoming an author has just kind of reawoken a passion that was already always there. And I just kind of forgot about her, that she was there. So
one of the activities that I do with people when they're looking for life purpose or like they just feel stuck, we do some exercises where I ask them to think about what they enjoyed doing as a child, because usually, if not all the time, those passions that we had as children is really what that little nugget inside of us is. So as adults, if we can go back to that and find that, and it doesn't even have to be a published book, but just start writing, just start dancing, just start doing whatever it was that brought you joy as a child. And I think people will see a shift in their attitude.
Yes. And very recently, because I have published my book and, I go back and I look at how far I've come with my photography too, I have sat down and just said, wow, my inner child is screaming right now. She's so happy. She's so happy because I'm doing all the things that she wanted. And part of the retreat, it was me forgiving, or not forgiving, but telling my inner child, I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. I'm sorry for all the hate. I'm sorry for all the things, all the bad things I've said. And so when I, came back, it was like, okay, me and my inner child, we got this. We are going to do some things and we're so happy. We're in a good place. It was like a high I didn't know I needed with nature.
Oh, well,
yeah.
So let's talk about that. Yeah. As I've also seen that you've taken up paddleboarding, spending time in nature.
Yes.
I love so much. How does that, if at all, impact your creative process? Like, what do you do to get your creative inspiration and ideas? Is it like forcing yourself to write, or is it spending time in nature? Is it any and all of the above?
I think it's a little bit of everything. For sure, spending my time in nature, because that's when you can really shut off from the world. When I'm paddleboarding, I can't be on my phone. I need to steer, and I need to make sure I'm not going, with the gators.
That's very true.
Yes. So I feel like being in nature for sure is like the best distraction for that creative juice flow that I need. So it allows my mind to kind of sit with my thoughts, which could be a good thing or a bad thing for some people. But, I'll sit with my thoughts. I'm like, okay, I have this idea for this book, and I'm like thinking of all the things, all the character names. And so I have to like make a mental note and, maybe find a little edge where I'm like, okay, take my phone out and then write the notes and then put it away. So, but it does create like this desire to want to do things and just kind of unplug and get off your phone and just be creative.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is so much to be said for being present,
Yeah.
being mindful. And it's hard because if you're not used to it, some of those negative thoughts, if you haven't worked through that, they will start to surface. But you're not able to get to that next level until you work through those. So it's hard, but I'm a huge proponent of spending time in nature, of unplugging, of getting out there and just letting those thoughts come to the surface and then, deal with them in whatever way you want to. Hit a pillow, do whatever, go for a run, get them out, write them out. But then on the other side of that is where I see the real creativity, inspiration, like it just skyrockets.
Yes. Yeah. And that's if you, do that and you're spending time with nature to kind of get that creative side, it's really important to follow up with it.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
that's corn.
because you can like, oh man, I got all these ideas and I'm, feeling this great like creative high. But then a lot of people don't go back and actually do anything about it. And then that's where the discipline comes in.
Yes.
It's like, okay, I went paddleboarding, I went hiking, I did all the things. Okay, now I need a minute.
Yeah.
So I can get this all out and actually do it. And then set a time, put a calendar schedule on your calendar. And like in this 1 hour a week, this 2 hours, 2 days a week, whatever you need to get it done.
Yes.
Just do it. Like Nike said, right? Just do it.
And this goes far beyond creative endeavors also. I mean, I see it in business, in the clients I work with. Everyone has really good ideas.
Yeah.
Not everyone implements or executes on those ideas to get the results you're looking for. Like, that is the sweet spot. You have to do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to.
Yeah. You can talk about writing a book all day long, but if you don't write the words, you got nothing to show for it.
Right. Just do the thing.
Do it. Yeah.
And I will also add to this because, again, thank you for just the guidance you gave me. Have an accountability partner, because Daniela, you were my accountability partner. I remember having coffee and I had these questions. You gave me the breakdown of what needed to be done.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, just do it next week. And I'm like, I should just do it next week.
Yeah.
And you're like, you need to tag me and text me when it's done.
Yeah.
And probably if I didn't have you to hold me accountable, I would have pushed it off.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember texting you and saying, hey, I don't see any post yet. What you doing?
I was like, yeah, I'm waiting on XYZ.
Yeah.
But yes, having someone to hold you accountable and in your corner, I think makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So you kind of answered this question.
Mm-hmm.
But if someone did come to you and was asking for advice on wanting to write a book, wanting to get started, what would you tell them?
Just do it. Just do it. I feel like everyone needs to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So if you want to write a book, I would say find, first of all, what genre interests you, whether you want to do, thriller, romance, or if you want to write a self-help, if you want to write a Christian-based book, if you want to write a children's book, what gives you the most happiness and the most excitement to want to do something? Because, if I like to read thriller, I know I like to write thriller. I am going to take a stab at a rom-com next year, and I'm not sure if I'm even going to like it. It may turn into nothing, but find what I think excites you, and then go with your ideas from there. Get advanced readers to read your books. Get people to beta read, which the beta read is they review it. They tell you if there's any plot holes, if there's anything missing. And that's kind of your audience and your reader base before you actually launch a book. So they're the ones that kind of help structure and shape it. So they are your cheerleaders in your corner saying, hey, this makes sense. This doesn't make sense. Or, oh my gosh, I love this. I want more. So if you have a group of those people that can kind of test the waters for you to see if you got something, and then kind of go from there. And then once you finish the book, then you find your advanced readers, and they're the ones that help push out your book.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I would also add, reach out to people who have done it.
Yeah.
Because people do have different processes. Even our process was different. I worked with an editor that helped me with all of the different pieces, because my biggest hang up at the beginning was, how do I go from this idea to a book in my hand? Like, it really overwhelmed me and I didn't know what step to take. So that's why having an editor for me helped, because they could kind of hold my hand and guide me along and keep me on track.
Yeah.
I did. Girl, you did it. You did it all on your own.
Or on my own. Yeah. It was mostly because I wanted to prove myself something, I think. But also I was scared of criticism too. And so I didn't want anyone to hold me back, because not that I don't like being told no, but if I have an idea and I want my voice to be a certain way, I didn't want anyone to change my voice.
Yeah.
And change the way I wanted to write my book. So that's how I was kind of like, I think I'm gonna do this on my own first. We'll see. But I mean, it was a lot of work. I did all the research on my own. I had to find all the programs to use, all of the editing software. It was a lot. So my second book, I might go with an editor just because it's easier. But yeah.
Let's switch gears a little bit to I Can Save Her.
Okay.
What is a conversation you hope this book starts?
This story follows a young woman who is kind of stuck in her day-to-day and wanting to remove herself from this particular situation, and finding her true purpose, thinking there's got to be more, But this poor soul, she leaves her job to go find something better in Colorado, only to be probably stuck in the worst case scenario. I'm hoping that whoever reads this book can find that, if you put your mind to something and you kind of keep that drive and that motivation going, that you can find your true purpose. You can find something that's more for you. The whole point of I Can Save Her is kind of like a double entendre. So the main character is wanting to save herself, but also the main male character is wanting to save her too. So whether he can save her or she can save herself is kind of like what you have to figure out in the book. I'm hoping that this book will motivate people to be like, okay, well, yes, I know this touches on some assault and things like that are kind of dark. Not everybody can kind of get out of that. It's not as easy as a fictional character can get out. But finding the help that you need, finding where you need to go to find the right resources and kind of remove yourself from that situation. And again, if there's the discipline, there's the actual, you have to actually apply. You can't just talk about it. You have to actually do it. So I'm hoping that this book kind of helps people see that, So if you're not happy in a situation, you can remove yourself. It may not be as easy as the book. It may not be as easy as some other people, but you can. There's resources, there's help. You can do it. It's just having that drive and that want to do it.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It's fantastic. It is a phenomenal book. I'm enjoying it very, very much. Let's talk a little bit about reader feedback and the positive feedback you've received. What are some of the things people are saying and what has that meant to you?
So I think the biggest thing was they have not ever seen the ending coming. And it makes me so happy because I also didn't see the ending coming. I'm like, you can't read my mind because I couldn't read my mind. So I think that was the biggest thing because with thrillers and mystery books, you don't want to know. You don't want to guess it.
Right.
It kind of ruins the book. If you realize, oh, I saw it coming, whatever. And then it's like, the book was okay. Like you kind of forget about everything that happened in the beginning. But if you get to the end and you're like, I did not see that coming, then it's like, wow, this was a great read.
Yep.
Because I held you on the edge of your seat from the beginning to the absolute end. And so I think that's been the biggest feedback that I've gotten. Some people have said that the book was a little unbelievable in sense, like, I guess one actually touched on the retreat and said that was an unbelievable scene. And I actually had a private conversation with this reader and I was like, well, actually, this did happen in real life. I mean, I don't know what kind of retreats you go on, but it can happen. So I think reading is so subjective and books are so subjective too. So, it's a matter of everyone's opinion, right? Sure, people are going to love it. Some people are going to absolutely hate it. Some people are like, just whatever, But I think the biggest thing is like, because I wanted to write a psychological thriller to give you whiplash, that it gave whiplash. And so, yeah. So I'm excited to see what you think and when you get to the end.
Yes. Yeah, I'm excited too.
Yeah, because I've had a lot of people tell me, I think I know what's going to happen. I'm like, you're probably sure you don't.
I'm one of those people. I'll read books or watch documentaries, and in my head, I'm thinking, well, XYZ, this is how it's going to end. I truly don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm probably 3/4 of the way through. So, yeah, I'll finish it within the next few days, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Daniela, let's talk a little bit more about you. Where is your favorite place to write?
So, man, I love writing in bed. In my bed, in my cozy bed, with my heated blanket, with my laptop, and a good energy drink next to me. And if I really am like so tired and like I can't find the time, I'll go to like a local coffee shop. Starbucks is always fun, but it's just very loud in there.
Yeah.
But just the smell and of being like around coffee is just something to you to be creative. Yeah. But so either a coffee shop or in my bed.
And are you a morning writer or a late night creative?
I'm a late night creative for sure. Yeah, I can't get anything done in the morning because my brain is like, I wake up and I'm like, okay, I have to have my coffee, my breakfast, get the kids ready for school, do all the things. And then I'm like, the house is a mess. I got to clean the house. Or I've got to do yard work or I've got to do laundry. Like my brain does not know when to stop. And I'm kind of one of those where everything has to be in place and order. before I can sit down and be like, okay, I earned this. I earned this time to
Right. Interesting.
yeah, but that's why I'm writing late at night, because I've done all my chores. I've done all the things. I cooked, I cleaned, I did everything, my responsibilities.
So it's like a reward.
A little reward, yeah, for me, yeah.
That's actually an interesting way to reframe it, to not make it seem like work. Wow, this is something I get to do and enjoy doing, and I earned it. So
Yes.
fascinating.
Yeah, it makes it a little less daunting too, because it's like when I finally sit down, my brain is like empty. I'm like, dishes are done, the laundry's done, the house is clean, like kids are fed, everyone's in bed. It's like the house is calm and quiet. So now I get to unwind and do this, not sit there and think I can't write a sentence down because there's laundry I need to do. There's things I need to clean or whatever. Like my docket is clean and clear.
It's so interesting because I'm the exact opposite. I am a straight up morning person.
Yeah.
Anything after 2:33, like I can do it, but it's a struggle.
Yeah.
But my frame of mind is I don't have all the things from the day weighing me down. Like I have that clean slate in the morning. So I think the point there is for listeners, know your energy type. I actually just gave a talk this week to a group of women where we talked about energy and knowing if you're a morning person or a night person, and lean into that. Like make it as easy or as much ease as possible when it comes to whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
Whether it's working out, whether it's creative projects, whether it's work stuff. Like find that time of day where you peak and go for it.
Yeah.
What do you think is one book everyone should read?
Oh, man. So I actually have two books.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. I love it. So they're both kind of, one is a creative base. It is called Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. So she is the author of Eat, Pray, Love, which I've never read Eat, Pray, Love. And I'm supposedly one of the best books ever. But I just, it was not in my, I guess, years of growing up. That was like before my time of being creative and finding myself. But I just came across the Big Magic. And that one is, I feel like, such a good reminder for creative people, or not even creatives, but anyone who strives to do anything, right? Just kind of like the same mindset, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it. Yeah. Do it messy. Do it, whatever. If you kind of like setting that time to actually believe in yourself, and kind of like, if you listen to the naysayers and you're not good enough and all the things, then you won't achieve anything. So, and the biggest thing for me was, I wanted to write a book, but more importantly, I wanted to finish a book.
There you go.
Yes. So when I read Big Magic, I was like, okay, this hits, right? Yeah. And the other one was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And that was like a new one that I had just read as well. But that one is about, following your dreams. And not only is your dream your end goal, but the journey getting there is more rewarding than the dream itself sometimes. Yeah. Hence the book. And going on the journey to this retreat and learning about the town and actually experiencing all these things, the journey to finish this book, I feel like, was even more rewarding than actually finishing the book. I mean, yes, it's a big deal to finish a book, but I feel like having that support and meeting all the people I met on the trip kind of sat with me, and now we're friends for the rest of our lives. So, and we even have a group chat. We check in every week. It's like, how you doing? And so I think those two books, if you have not read them, very highly recommend.
So you talked about the young adult book that you're working on. You have some other ideas. What is next? Maybe for those books, or even with I Can Save Her?
So the next book I want to publish is going to be that YA book for my kids, because after this book came out, both of my kids, I have a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old, both of them wanted to read it. And I felt, exactly. I was like, oh man, no, you can never read this. I even put in there, kind of dedication. If you're reading this, you're grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. To my family, thank you for letting me ignore you for a while. Kids, if you're reading this, you're grounded. Highly recommend, don't let your kids read this. And it is an adult, it is an adult book.
Yes. But it was at that moment where my kids were so proud of me, and they're like, Mom, you finished this book. Can I read it? And I'm like, no, I'm so sorry. Maybe when you turn 18, and then, don't judge me. Don't look at me weird or whatever. I don't know. Because, yes, it is a thriller. I did put some things in there that are not appropriate for them. So I was like, Oh, okay. Now I really have to circle back and we're going to write this YA book because it was an idea. Even one of the main characters' name is Lucas, which is after my son. So I was like, I got to do it for them now, right? Because that's what we do as parents and moms. Like we do it for our children.
Yeah.
So this next book that I write and publish and release, hopefully this year, is going to be more catered to them and suitable for a younger, proud audience to be able to read. And then once that's out, I am going to write the sequel to this book. There will be a little sequel that'll kind of dive deeper into Matt's point of view and Matt's life. Because it kind of touched there basically, but I feel like there's a lot more that we can work with that. And then in early next year, there's a rom-com, like I said, I wanted to take a stab at. So we'll see. I have a really good idea, but rom-coms for me are kind of slow. Mine probably won't be.
I can't wait. I can't wait. So if someone wants to connect with you, learn more about you, you're going to be at some local events coming up, but if they happen to not be in the area, where can they find out more about the book? Where can they get it? Where can they connect with you?
So the best thing would be my website, danielamurray.com, or on social media through Instagram and Facebook. I'm more active on Instagram, so probably Instagram on my website, they'll be able to find, all the upcoming books that I'm writing, all the spoiler and teasers and everything that's coming up.
Daniela, thank you so much for being here. It has just been such a pleasure to watch this book come out, to read it, to get to know you even more. And then I'm so looking forward to what's coming next for you. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun, and I'm glad you're enjoying the book.